All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. So let's get this scripture right here. This is Romans 13 and 12, and it says, "The night is far spent." Well, I'll start at verse 11. Romans 13:11 says that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. So we know the time already. I mean, we know that this is the time of prophecy. This is the time where the Most High is visiting the world which He made. Let's go ahead and get that in the book of Esdras. So that's exactly the time that we're living in, man. We're living in a time where prophecy is being fulfilled. Let's go ahead and get that. It's not what I want. This is 2 Esdras 9 and 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself." And that's how you know the time. That's how you know what time you're in, man. And obviously we know that we're in the time of the end. It says, "And when thou seest part of the signs past." So when he says we see part of the signs or part of the prophecies, now we already know that part of the prophecies, a good majority of them have passed, man. So we know what time it is, basically. We're knowing the time. We're measuring the time. We see the time. We see the time for what it is, and these are the time of the end, which I've told thee before. It was spoken by the prophets throughout all the ages. "Then shalt thou understand that at the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which He made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of people in the world, there shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things in the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." So that's all we got to get on that, man. So that's the time that we're living in, man. We know the time. We have an inside scoop, so to speak, man. The people talk about being an insider. Well, we're insiders to prophecy. We're prophecy insiders. There's people in the world that call themselves economic insiders or whatever field or craft that they're partaking, they're part of. If they know certain knowledge of it, they're called insiders. Well, you can call the men of Great Millstone and those that teach like doctrine. You can call them prophecy insiders, because we know what's going on, man. Let's go ahead and get that scripture back in Romans. It says that knowing that the time is not that slakia, that knowing the time that now is a high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed. So there's no time to slack up, man. This is a time to Romans 12 and 1. Let's go ahead and get that. "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice." And that's the only way you can do that, through His mercy. "Holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is reasonable service." And what does that mean, man? It says present your bodies as a living sacrifice, or your life, basically. Holy, acceptable. So what's going to be an acceptable sacrifice of yourself into the Most High? Well, holy is the key word right there. And we know that means separate. Let's go ahead and get that. So these are part of the things that we got to do, knowing the time. Let's see here. It says, Hegel, so an awful thing, compare sacred, physically pure, morally blameless, religious ceremony, not to consecrate holy saint. Compare sacred, so you got to be a holy or separate, basically what it's trying to say. Acceptable to Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. Get that word reasonable, pertaining to speech or speaking, pertaining to the reason of logic, spiritual, pertaining to the soul, agreeable to reason, following reasonable logic. And what's the most reasonable logic in the world? Well, the knowledge of the Bible. The law, statutes, and commandments are basically common sense on the highest degree. If you really look at it that way, man, the wisdom, the moral code, and the wisdom of the Bible is basically highest sense to the highest degree. It's the highest form of common sense. So we're called to live by the highest form of common sense, and it only makes sense to serve the power that made you. You know, that's part of knowing this time. And this in verse 12, verse 2 clarifies exactly what that means. And be not conformed to this world. Let's get that word conform. To conform oneself to another's pattern, fashion oneself according to. Now, the rest of the world, they're gonna conform to this world, meaning they're gonna fashion themselves in the wickedness of this world. And you see that on an everyday basis. And ultimately, they're going to conform, or they're going to conform to that RFID, that microchip. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed. Let's get the word transform. To change it to another form. So you got to be a whole new man. To change to another form, to conform, to transfigure. Yahweh Shai, the appearance of change, will be splendid with divine brightness on the Mount of Transfiguration. To transform, change, transfigure, transform. You know, so you should be a unrecognizable person compared to the person you were before you got into this truth. This is part of knowing the time. This is part of knowing the time. You know, you see the time approaching, then so you got to cut off all distractions and stumbling blocks that might endanger your walk in this truth, man. It says, by the renewing of your mind. So basically, to transform, to not be conformed to the world, to have a mentality and a way of thinking that's totally contrary to the world's way of thinking. And that's part of knowing the time, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. So that's part of knowing the time, man. That's what's part of, you know, being part of prophecy is about, man. And always remember that we are part of prophecy. We are prophecy being fulfilled. And we know this, man. We have an inside knowledge of it. So let's go back to Romans, I think it was Romans. Yeah, Romans 13 and 12. It says, Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time, that now is a high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believe. And why do you say that? Why do you say salvation is nearer than we believe? Because of the prophecies that are being fulfilled. Because of things that are going on in the world that's leading up to ultimately World War III and the micro sea hip. You know, that's the, you know, and those other things that come along with it. Jacob's trouble. You know, famine of the word. You know, we see all those things coming, man. They're coming very soon. Most High willing, man. We don't got to be here another year. You know, that's just wishful thinking. You know, no man knows the day and the hour, but that's just a hope. You know, you gotta hasten the coming, man. Hasten the coming of the Lord, man. We hasten His coming. That's in the book of Revelation. I'm mistaken. Just gonna get that. Just we mentioned it. So these are 3 verses of the book of Revelation that speak of the hastening of the coming of the Lord, the quickening of the coming of the Lord. You know, it can't come soon enough, man. Revelation 3:11, behold, I come quickly. These are the words of the words of Yahweh Shai, the words of what you call Jesus Christ, the world calls Jesus Christ. Revelation 3:11, behold, I come quickly, hold thou fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And part of that is going back to Revelations 12 and 1 and 2. You know, giving your body as a reasonable, giving your life as a reasonable sacrifice, being not conformed to this world. That goes along with that. That's how you hold fast to your crown, or that what makes you glorious, man. And what makes us glorious is our separation from the world in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's what's pleasing to Him. So that's why it says a reasonable sacrifice, holy and acceptable. It says, behold, I come quickly. Best, and this is verse 7. Revelation 22 and 7, Salakia. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. You know, so it doesn't matter if you know all the scriptures, if you're not abiding by the scriptures in the form of doctrine, in the form of brotherhood, in the form of the teaching and preaching His word. You know, then you're wasting your time, man. You're just a dude that knows shit. Aldo Gabar, he made a lesson on that. Basically, it doesn't matter how it doesn't matter what level of expertise you are as far as the words in the book. Basically, you got to be living by it. It says Revelation 22:12, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. And that goes back to, Romans, the 13th chapter. It says, and knowing the time, now is the time to walk out of sleep, for now salvation nearer than we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly in the day, not rioting, drunkenness, not chambering, not wanting, not a strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Meshach Yahushua, man, and provision the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. And the appetites of the flesh, man. And that's exactly what 2/3 of people, they're going to be doing up until the time of the end. They're going to be giving into the appetites of the flesh, or the lust of the flesh, in the form of preserving their life. What the scriptures say, he that seeketh to save his life shall lose it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get it. This is Matthew 16:25. Says, and whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. That's part of the Romans 12:1, the reasonable sacrifice, part of knowing the time. And the other scriptures, they basically say the same thing. So that's the mind frame, man. That's the mindset for the men of the Lord in the last minutes of this kingdom. Go hard, man. Go hard with it. Put in your best foot forward, man. The race is we're almost at the finish line. I don't know if brothers that ever run track or cross country, but when you know that the finish line is near, that's when you give it forth all your effort, basically. You try to get that last good sprint in to finish strong, man. You don't slow down when you see the finish line. You hurry up to the finish line, because you know that once you cross that line, and the pain and the enduring and the grunting and the strenuous activity that you're doing, it's gonna be over with, man. And that's how we gotta be. That's part of knowing the time. That's part of being an insider in prophecy. Is basically increasing your ferventness, man. And pray to the Most High for more faith, man. The apostles, they pray for more faith. Pray for more wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Pray to move correctly and circumspectly in the wicked world, man. But with that being said, just a real quick lesson here at the plantation. Most High will and hope is edifying. That one give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let's keep on pushing. Shalom.